Can becoming a mother heal a lifetime of heartbreak? Lindsay Hubbard's emotional family journey. Family relationships are rarely simple. For some people, the strongest source of love is also the deepest source of pain. While fame often gives audiences a glimpse into glamorous lifestyles, it can also reveal the personal struggles that celebrities face behind the scenes. One story that has captured attention is Lindsay Hubbard's emotional journey as she entered motherhood, while reflecting on a complicated relationship with her own mother. For years, Lindsay has been known as someone who isn't afraid to speak honestly about her life. Whether discussing friendships, relationships, career goals, or personal challenges, she has consistently shared both the highs and the lows. That openness has allowed fans to connect with her on a deeper level, especially when she spoke about the emotional wounds left by her family's past. Long before pregnancy became part of her story, Lindsay had publicly acknowledged that her relationship with her mother had been difficult for many years. She explained that the distance between them affected her emotionally and shaped many of her experiences growing up. Rather than pretending everything was perfect, she chose to discuss those painful memories openly, something many people found both courageous and relatable. Family estrangement can happen for many different reasons. Every family has its own history, misunderstandings, disappointments, and moments that change relationships forever. While the public only knows parts of Lindsay's personal story, it became clear over time that the emotional distance between mother and daughter was something she carried with her into adulthood. As Lindsay built her own life and career, she focused on creating success for herself. She developed close friendships, pursued ambitious goals, and appeared determined to build the future she wanted. Yet even as her professional life continued to grow, conversations about family often revealed that some emotional wounds remained difficult to forget. Fans noticed that whenever Lindsay discussed childhood memories or family relationships, her emotions felt genuine. She never presented herself as someone who had all the answers. Instead, she acknowledged that healing is often a slow process filled with setbacks, unanswered questions, and moments of self-reflection. That honesty resonated with many viewers who had experienced similar family struggles. Around the world, countless people live with complicated relationships involving parents, siblings, or other relatives. Some eventually reconcile, while others continue searching for peace without ever finding complete closure. As the years passed, Lindsay's outlook appeared to evolve. Rather than focusing only on the pain of the past, she increasingly spoke about personal growth, emotional maturity, and learning how to move forward. Growth did not erase difficult memories, but it seemed to change how she viewed them. Then came a life-changing announcement. When Lindsay revealed that she was expecting her first child, excitement spread quickly among fans. Many congratulated her on beginning a completely new chapter. Pregnancy often represents much more than preparing for a baby's arrival. It can inspire people to reflect on their own childhood, family traditions, and the kind of parent they hope to become. For Lindsay, that reflection appeared especially meaningful. Preparing to welcome a child naturally led her to think about the experiences that shaped her own life. Questions that many first-time parents ask themselves suddenly became deeply personal. What lessons from childhood should be passed on? Which mistakes should never be repeated? How can someone create a home filled with security, trust, and unconditional love? These are questions millions of parents quietly ask themselves before welcoming a baby. Motherhood often changes priorities in unexpected ways. People who once focused entirely on careers or personal goals suddenly begin thinking about family legacies, emotional stability, and creating positive memories for the next generation. While every person's experience is unique, many describe becoming a parent as one of the most transformative periods of their lives. For Lindsay, it also appeared to become a period of emotional reflection. Instead of looking only at what had gone wrong in the past, she seemed increasingly interested in understanding the bigger picture. Time, maturity, and new responsibilities can sometimes change how people interpret old experiences. They do not necessarily erase hurt, but they can encourage empathy, patience, and a willingness to see situations from a different perspective. That doesn't mean reconciliation happens overnight. Healing broken family relationships usually requires effort from everyone involved. Trust cannot simply appear after years of distance. Communication takes time. Forgiveness, when it happens, often develops gradually rather than through one dramatic conversation. Still, becoming a parent can inspire people to reconsider relationships they once believed could never improve. As Lindsay prepared for one of the biggest moments of her life, fans began noticing subtle changes in the way she discussed her family. Rather than speaking only about heartbreak, she increasingly focused on hope. Her interviews reflected someone who had spent years processing painful emotions and was now entering a stage where healing finally seemed possible. That shift attracted attention because it represented more than celebrity news. It highlighted an experience shared by countless families around the world. Many people wonder whether major life milestones, marriage, parenthood, or personal growth can create opportunities for reconciliation that once seemed impossible. For Lindsay, pregnancy appeared to open the door to those possibilities. While she remained honest about the difficulties of the past, she also expressed gratitude for the chance to begin writing a different future. Instead of allowing old wounds to define every new chapter, she seemed determined to build a healthier environment for her growing family. As her due date approached, excitement mixed with uncertainty. Welcoming a child would undoubtedly change her life forever. But another question quietly lingered in the background. Could becoming a mother also become the first real step toward healing the relationship that had caused so much pain throughout her life? The answer would begin to reveal itself only after one tiny new arrival entered the world, bringing not only joy, but also unexpected opportunities for forgiveness, understanding, and a completely new beginning. I'd be happy to continue with an original script. Can becoming a mother heal a lifetime of heartbreak? Lindsay Hubbard's emotional family journey. As Lindsay Hubbard's pregnancy progressed, each passing month brought more than excitement about meeting her baby. It also became a season of reflection. Preparing a nursery, attending medical appointments, and imagining life as a mother naturally encouraged her to think about the family she hoped to build. For many first-time parents, pregnancy is filled with anticipation and uncertainty. There are moments of joy, moments of anxiety, and countless decisions to make before a baby arrives. Lindsay's experience was no different. While she embraced the excitement of becoming a mother, she also found herself revisiting memories she hadn't fully left behind. Childhood experiences often shape the way people approach parenthood. Some parents hope to recreate the love and support they received growing up. Others focus on breaking difficult cycles and creating something different for the next generation. Lindsay appeared determined to build a home centered on stability, compassion, and emotional openness. Throughout her public life, she had demonstrated resilience. Viewers had watched her navigate friendships, romantic relationships, career challenges, and personal setbacks. Those experiences helped shape the woman she was becoming. But motherhood represented a completely different kind of responsibility. Unlike television storylines, parenting doesn't follow a script. Every day brings new lessons, unexpected surprises, and opportunities to grow. As Lindsay prepared for that reality, she spoke about how becoming a mother had changed the way she viewed herself and the people around her. Instead of focusing only on what had been lost in the past, she increasingly looked toward what could still be built in the future. That shift in perspective didn't erase painful memories. Difficult experiences remain part of a person's story, even after healing begins. But many people discover that becoming responsible for another life changes the questions they ask themselves. Rather than asking why did this happen to me, they begin asking what kind of future do I want my child to have. For Lindsay, that question seemed especially meaningful. She wanted her child to grow up surrounded by love, encouragement, and emotional security. Creating that environment meant examining her own experiences honestly and deciding which lessons to carry forward. As news of her pregnancy spread, fans flooded social media with congratulations. Many longtime supporters celebrated this exciting chapter, remembering the challenges she had openly shared over the years. Others admired her willingness to discuss complicated family dynamics without pretending life was perfect. That honesty continued throughout her journey. She often emphasized that personal growth isn't about forgetting painful experiences. Instead, it's about learning from them and refusing to let them define every future relationship. As her due date drew closer, another possibility quietly emerged. The anticipation surrounding the baby's arrival seemed to create opportunities for family members to reconnect. Significant life events often bring relatives together, even after years of distance. Weddings, graduations, illnesses, and births can remind people of what truly matters. While every family's situation is unique, the arrival of a new baby frequently encourages conversations that once seemed impossible. According to Lindsay's own reflections, motherhood helped open the door to renewed communication with her mother. Rather than focusing entirely on old disagreements, both appeared willing to explore the possibility of moving forward. Healing, however, rarely happens all at once. It usually begins with small moments: a conversation, a message, a visit, a willingness to listen instead of argue. These simple steps may seem ordinary, but they often become the foundation for rebuilding trust after years of emotional distance. When Lindsay welcomed her baby into the world, the experience brought overwhelming joy. Like many new parents, she described the moment as life-changing. Holding her child for the first time gave everything a new sense of purpose. The priorities that once seemed urgent suddenly became less important. Career milestones remained meaningful. Public recognition still existed, but nothing compared to the responsibility of caring for a tiny life that depended entirely on her love and protection. That profound emotional shift also influenced how she viewed her own family history. Rather than seeing only pain, she began recognizing the possibility of healing. She later shared that becoming a mother had helped strengthen her relationship with her own mom. While she didn't suggest that every problem disappeared overnight, she explained that this new chapter created space for greater understanding. Many people connected with that message because it reflected a truth experienced in countless families. Sometimes healing begins not because the past changes, but because people change. Life experiences can soften perspectives. Time can reduce anger. Parenthood can create empathy that wasn't possible before. As Lindsay adjusted to life with her newborn, she discovered that motherhood wasn't simply about caring for a baby. It was also about rediscovering parts of herself she hadn't fully understood before. The emotional journey continued every day. Sleepless nights, first smiles, learning routines, celebrating small milestones. Each moment reminded her how precious family connections can be. At the same time, she remained realistic. Healing is never guaranteed, and every family's circumstances are different. Some relationships improve dramatically, while others require years of patience and consistent effort. Still, Lindsay's experience offered hope that reconciliation can become possible even after long periods of separation. For many fans, that message became one of the most inspiring aspects of her story. Her journey wasn't presented as a perfect fairy tale. It was a reminder that forgiveness is often a process, rather than a destination. And sometimes, the arrival of one small child can inspire adults to begin conversations they never imagined having again. As Lindsay embraced motherhood, another chapter was just beginning, a chapter that would test whether renewed hope could develop into a lasting family bond, and whether the lessons learned from the past would help shape an even brighter future. The first few weeks of motherhood are often described as a whirlwind. Every day brings something new, whether it's learning a baby's routine, adjusting to sleepless nights, or discovering just how much life can change in a short period of time. For Lindsay Hubbard, this season was filled with joy, but it also became a time of deep emotional reflection. As she settled into her new role as a mother, Lindsay began to appreciate how complex parenting truly is. Before becoming a parent, it's easy to imagine what motherhood might look like. Living it, however, is an entirely different experience. Every smile from her baby carried meaning. Every cry demanded patience. Every milestone became a reminder of how quickly life moves forward. These daily moments encouraged Lindsay to think not only about her child's future, but also about her own past. Many people find that parenthood changes the way they remember childhood experiences. Memories that once seemed distant suddenly feel more personal. Questions about family relationships return, often with a different perspective than before. For Lindsay, motherhood appeared to encourage compassion without dismissing the reality of past pain. She had spent years speaking openly about the emotional impact of family estrangement. Those experiences shaped her, but they no longer seemed to define every decision she made. Instead, she focused on creating the kind of environment she wanted her child to experience every single day. Love, consistency, trust, open communication. These values became more important than ever. One of the most meaningful lessons many parents learn is that perfection doesn't exist. Every mother and father makes mistakes. Every family experiences disagreements. What often matters most is the willingness to acknowledge those mistakes and continue growing together. That realization may have played an important role in Lindsay's changing outlook. Rather than viewing family relationships through a simple lens of right and wrong, she appeared to recognize how complicated human emotions can be. People carry their own experiences, fears, and regrets throughout life, and those experiences often influence the way they interact with others. Understanding that reality doesn't excuse harmful behavior, but it can make forgiveness feel more possible. As Lindsay continued sharing updates about motherhood, fans noticed that her public comments reflected optimism instead of bitterness. She spoke with gratitude about the opportunity to raise her child, while also acknowledging the personal growth that had brought her to this point. Supporters admired that balance. She wasn't pretending the past never happened. She also wasn't allowing it to overshadow every joyful moment in the present. That approach resonated with people from many different backgrounds. Around the world, countless families experience periods of distance. Some relatives stop speaking for months, others remain apart for years. Rebuilding those relationships often requires tremendous courage from everyone involved. Sometimes all it takes is one meaningful conversation to begin. Other times, progress happens slowly through small acts of kindness repeated over months or even years. Lindsay's story reminded many people that reconciliation doesn't always begin with dramatic gestures. More often, it begins with a willingness to listen. As her baby continued to grow, so did Lindsay's confidence as a parent. She embraced the challenges that came with caring for a newborn, while celebrating the countless little victories that make early parenthood so memorable. The first smile, the first laugh, the first moments of recognition. These milestones brought happiness that words can hardly describe. They also reinforced the importance of family support. Many new parents discover that raising a child becomes easier when grandparents, relatives, and close friends are involved. A strong support system offers practical help, emotional encouragement, and the opportunity for children to build meaningful relationships across generations. For someone who had experienced family estrangement, those connections carried even greater significance. Reports about Lindsay's evolving relationship with her mother suggested that both were gradually finding common ground. While neither appeared to erase the past, they seemed willing to focus on the future instead. That distinction matters. True healing isn't about pretending painful experiences never existed. It's about choosing not to let those experiences control every chapter that follows. For Lindsay, motherhood became a daily reminder that every new beginning carries the possibility of hope. Her child would grow up creating brand new memories, writing a story untouched by previous family conflicts. That opportunity inspired Lindsay to keep moving forward. She often emphasized the importance of gratitude, recognizing that every stage of life brings lessons. Some lessons come through celebration, others arrive through disappointment. Together, they shape the people we become. Fans continued following her journey with genuine interest, not simply because she was a television personality, but because her experiences reflected challenges many families understand. Behind every public figure is a private life filled with victories, heartbreaks, hopes, and fears. Lindsay's willingness to discuss those realities made her story feel authentic. She showed that strength isn't measured by pretending everything is perfect. Sometimes strength means admitting that healing is still a work in progress. As the months passed, it became increasingly clear that becoming a mother had transformed far more than Lindsay's daily routine. It had transformed the way she viewed relationships, the way she viewed forgiveness, the way she viewed herself. Most importantly, it reminded her that every generation has the chance to write a different story than the one before it. That realization would continue shaping not only her family life, but also the message she hoped others would take from her journey, a message of resilience, compassion, and the belief that even the deepest emotional wounds can begin to heal when people remain open to change. As the months passed, Lindsay Hubbard began settling into a new rhythm of life. Motherhood was no longer something she was preparing for, it had become her everyday reality. Each morning brought new responsibilities, new surprises, and new reminders that life had changed forever. Like many parents, she quickly learned that no 2 days were exactly alike. Some days felt effortless, others tested her patience and resilience. Yet through every challenge, one thing remained constant: her determination to create a loving, supportive home for her child. That commitment influenced nearly every decision she made. Friends and longtime fans noticed a quieter confidence in the way Lindsay spoke about life. Instead of focusing only on future ambitions or public appearances, she often reflected on the importance of family, gratitude, and being present in each moment. Motherhood had shifted her priorities. Many people experience this kind of transformation after welcoming a child. Success is no longer measured only by career achievements or public recognition. It also becomes about bedtime stories, shared laughter, first words, and the countless small memories that eventually shape a child's life. For Lindsay, those moments became priceless. At the same time, balancing parenthood with life in the public eye presented unique challenges. As a reality television personality, much of her journey had unfolded before an audience. Fans celebrated milestones with her, but they also formed opinions about deeply personal matters. Living under that spotlight isn't always easy. Every interview, every social media post, and every public appearance can become part of a larger conversation. Despite that pressure, Lindsay appeared committed to protecting the parts of motherhood that mattered most while remaining grateful for the support she received from fans. Throughout this new chapter, conversations about her relationship with her mother continued to attract attention. People were naturally curious. Could years of emotional distance truly be overcome? Was this reconciliation lasting? Or was it simply the beginning of another complicated chapter? While only those directly involved know the full story, Lindsay's public reflections suggested that healing remained an ongoing process, rather than a single event. That honesty resonated with many people. Real-life reconciliation rarely follows a straight path. Progress often includes moments of uncertainty, emotional conversations, and the gradual rebuilding of trust. Relationships that have experienced years of pain usually require patience from everyone involved. Trust is earned one step at a time. Lindsay seemed to understand that rebuilding family connections wasn't about creating a perfect ending. Instead, it was about remaining open to growth while accepting that healing takes time. This perspective also influenced the way she approached motherhood. She knew mistakes would happen. Every parent has difficult days. Every family experiences misunderstandings. Rather than striving for perfection, she focused on being emotionally available, learning from each experience, and showing her child unconditional love. That mindset reflected one of the biggest lessons many parents discover: children don't need perfect parents, they need parents who are willing to learn, apologize when necessary, and keep showing up every day. As her confidence grew, Lindsay also became more comfortable discussing the emotional lessons she had learned throughout her journey. She recognized that forgiveness isn't always about forgetting painful experiences. Sometimes forgiveness means choosing peace over resentment. Sometimes it means accepting that the past cannot be rewritten, while still believing the future can look different. For many families, that distinction is incredibly important. Holding on to anger may feel understandable, especially after years of disappointment. Yet carrying that emotional weight forever can prevent people from fully embracing new opportunities for happiness. Lindsay's story suggested that becoming a mother encouraged her to release some of that burden, not because the past disappeared, but because her future had become more important. Her child represented hope, a new beginning, a chance to build traditions rooted in love, trust, and emotional security. Fans who followed her journey often commented on how relatable those themes were. Even people who had never watched her television appearances found themselves connecting with the universal emotions behind her story. Everyone understands the desire to belong. Everyone understands the hope of being accepted by family. Everyone understands wanting to give children a better future than the one they may have experienced themselves. Those emotions cross every background and every generation. As Lindsay continued embracing motherhood, she also seemed increasingly grateful for the people who stood beside her during life's biggest transitions. Friends, relatives, and loved ones all became part of the support system helping her navigate this exciting chapter. Strong communities matter. No parent raises a child completely alone. Whether support comes from family members, close friends, neighbors, or mentors, having trusted people nearby can make an enormous difference during both joyful and challenging moments. Looking back, Lindsay's journey reflected far more than celebrity headlines. It became a story about resilience, about growth, about choosing hope instead of bitterness. Most importantly, it became a reminder that every new generation offers an opportunity to build stronger family bonds. As her baby continued growing, Lindsay looked ahead with optimism. The past would always remain part of her story, but it no longer had to determine the future. Instead, every new day offered another opportunity to create happy memories, strengthen family relationships, and continue building a life centered on love. The emotional journey, however, was not over. The greatest lesson of all was still waiting to unfold, a lesson not only about motherhood, but about the lasting power of forgiveness, second chances, and the courage to keep moving forward, even after years of heartbreak. Every life story reaches a point where looking backward becomes just as important as looking ahead. For Lindsay Hubbard, motherhood created that moment. It encouraged her to reflect on everything she had experienced while embracing everything that still lay in front of her. By this stage of her journey, one thing had become clear: healing is rarely a single event. It is a series of choices made day after day. Choosing patience instead of frustration. Choosing understanding instead of assumptions. Choosing hope instead of giving up. These decisions may seem small on their own, but over time, they can reshape relationships and change the direction of an entire family. As Lindsay continued adjusting to life as a mother, she discovered that every stage of parenting brought new lessons. Watching her child grow reminded her that children learn not only from words, but also from the example set by the adults around them. That realization carried enormous responsibility. The values children experience at home often stay with them throughout life. Kindness, honesty, respect, and compassion are usually taught through everyday actions, rather than grand speeches. Lindsay appeared determined to build a home where those values could flourish. She understood that every family has imperfections. Disagreements are inevitable, misunderstandings happen, and difficult seasons can arise without warning. The difference often lies in how families respond to those challenges. Do they stop communicating? Or do they continue trying to understand one another? That question became one of the central themes of Lindsay's journey. Her willingness to remain open to healing offered encouragement to people facing similar circumstances. Across the world, countless sons and daughters hope for reconciliation with parents. Likewise, many parents quietly hope for another chance to rebuild relationships with their children. Every family's story is different. Some reunions happen quickly, others take years. Some relationships improve gradually through consistent effort, while others remain complicated despite everyone's best intentions. Lindsay never suggested that motherhood magically solved every problem. Instead, her experience illustrated how becoming a parent can inspire people to see old situations through a new perspective. Sometimes a major life event reminds us of what truly matters. The arrival of a child has a remarkable way of shifting priorities. Suddenly, the focus moves away from past disappointments and toward creating a brighter future. New traditions begin. Fresh memories are created. Families often discover opportunities for connection that once seemed impossible. That appears to have been one of the most meaningful aspects of Lindsay's story. Rather than allowing past pain to define every chapter of her future, she chose to invest her energy in building something stronger for the next generation. It wasn't about pretending difficult experiences never happened. It was about refusing to let those experiences become the entire story. That message resonated with many people because it reflects a universal truth. Everyone carries emotional scars. Everyone experiences disappointment. Everyone faces moments when forgiveness feels incredibly difficult. Yet many people also discover that growth becomes possible when they remain willing to learn, communicate, and move forward one step at a time. As Lindsay embraced each new milestone with her child, she also embraced a new understanding of herself. She wasn't simply the person shaped by yesterday's experiences. She had become someone capable of creating tomorrow's memories. That distinction matters. The past influences us, but it does not have to imprison us. Our experiences help shape who we are, but they don't have to determine who we become. For Lindsay, motherhood symbolized possibility. The possibility of stronger relationships. The possibility of emotional healing. The possibility of writing a new family story built on love, patience, and mutual respect. Fans who followed her journey often found inspiration not because everything unfolded perfectly, but because it reflected real life. Healing is messy. Growth is gradual. Relationships require continuous care. There are no shortcuts, only consistent effort, only honest conversations, only the courage to keep showing up, even when progress feels slow. As time moves forward, Lindsay's family story will undoubtedly continue to evolve. Like every parent, she will experience celebrations, challenges, unexpected moments, and valuable lessons. No one can predict exactly what the future holds. What remains certain, however, is the impact this chapter has already had. It demonstrated that personal transformation often begins from within. It reminded people that reconciliation is possible, even if it arrives slowly. And it showed that welcoming a new generation into the world can inspire adults to rediscover compassion, gratitude, and hope. Perhaps that's why Lindsay's journey has resonated with so many people. It's not simply a celebrity story. It's a human story, a story about family, about resilience, about learning from the past without becoming trapped by it, about believing that every sunrise offers another opportunity to choose kindness over resentment and connection over isolation. As Lindsay looks toward the future, her greatest achievement may not be measured by television appearances or public recognition. Instead, it may be found in the quiet moments shared with her child, the relationships she continues to nurture, and the example she sets every day. If her journey teaches us anything, it's that healing doesn't always arrive in dramatic ways. Sometimes it begins with a single conversation, sometimes it grows through patience, and sometimes it starts with the tiny hands of a newborn reminding an entire family that every ending can also become the beginning of something beautiful. Thank you for watching. If this story inspired you or reminded you of the importance of family, share your thoughts in the comments below. Every family's journey is unique, and your experience may encourage someone else who is searching for hope. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another inspiring story. Until next time, thank you for being here, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for the watching and subscribe.